I envision a sustainable Philippines? Well, I think it all starts with a more conscious citizenry, where people are more conscious about how they eat, how they buy, and how nothing should go to waste. I think when we start with a mindset like that, then we can have a more sustainable Philippines.
A sustainable Philippines is our beloved country flourishing as God intended it to be. Its people are happy, content, progressive, and conscious of their responsibility as good citizens and consumers. Industries protect and respect their workers, as workers protect and respect their employers. Our natural resources are not abused by industry. Instead, they are used wisely and thoughtfully, and even protected so that future generations may have the benefit of enjoying an environment that is hospitable, healthy, lush, verdant, and vibrant, with the flora and fauna that will set it apart from other Asian countries.
A country where individuals and organizations make intentional, responsible consumption and production every single time, where all cities are sustainable and communities meet their own goals without compromising future generations to meet their own needs.
I hope and envision for a sustainable community, whereas people of our country share a common purpose, and that is to acknowledge our future without reducing the resources that maintain them. Let us continue to promote, educate, and share with everyone how to better understand and embrace a sustainable living.
I hope for a sustainable Philippines wherein everybody has jobs, there is no poverty, we have responsible government, there is clean environment, and everybody believes in God.
A sustainable Philippines is grounded on life-focused, Bible-centric values that transcends the future generations.
A sustainable Philippines fosters development through human perspective in rights reform, greener environmental considerations, agribusiness partnerships, and strengthens to empower the integrated ecosystem, making impact to the people.
Hello. I envision a sustainable Philippines where we have a clean environment, not only outdoors or in our cities, but also in our workplaces.
I'm Gabby Avante, a biology sophomore from DLSC Manila, and I envision a Philippines that is aware, educated, and willing to take action to pursue a sustainable society for all.
Hey guys, my name is Greenman. I'm originally from a small village in Germany. I was voted greenest person on the planet in 2008, and my passion is to inspire people to live a green lifestyle. I myself try to live as green as possible. Electricity bill less than $10 US. I just created my carbon footprint, zero carbon footprint off-grid home. Green living, that's my business. In the morning, we look at our personal lives. In the afternoon, we look at what can we do in the office. What can we do as a member of an organization or as a manager or owner to take our organization, our business to the next level. Again, to shift from burden to planet to healing the planet through product innovation, energy efficiency, reduction of consumption, adding more to the bottom line and coming up with innovations that help the planet. That's what green living and working is all about, to look at where can I be the change and be the difference.
Hey, good evening, everybody in the Philippines and all over the world. Lovely to have you with us today to the Greenman podcast here at Sustainable PH. And tonight's show is with the official Green Queen, Louisa Burton. She was with me backstage 10 minutes ago, but seems like she has suddenly disappeared. But as we say here in the Philippines, walang problema. I will cover the time until, oh, there, you are back. Wonderful, Louisa, great to see you. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous, thank you. How are you?
I'm great too. I'm great. I am living now full time in the country where we originally met, you know, and the Philippines, and maybe just for the audience to shed a light on our guest. Louisa Burton is Miss Earth UK 2016. She was in the Philippines for the Miss Earth Global Final. She has done many amazing things since then. She became Miss Europe World 2018, and she has climbed Mount Elbrus, which is in Russia, and it's more than 5,600-meter high, right? And yeah, how has life been since you kind of finished your modeling and pageant career and shifted towards the being the official Green Queen?
Well, it's definitely been a whirlwind. The beauty of having your own brand is you get to kind of decide what passions interest you. And, you know, I had to give over the titles. I had to retire eventually from pageantry and modelling. And I just wanted to do something more that just fulfilled me and just gave me a lot of purpose that was in line with my values and the things that I was doing. So I gave myself my very own title that's now lifelong, and that is as the official Green Queen. So thank you for that lovely introduction. That was really, really great. And yeah, we obviously met up in 2017 after we originally met, and that was in Ghana, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. And since then, I went back to study with Cambridge University to learn more about sustainability in business, because I'm really, really interested in, you know, how I can use my experience, my knowledge, but also my passion and platform to just make this a wider thing, and to really make this also something that younger people are becoming more interested in, who might want to be starting up as entrepreneurs.
Great, excellent. I think that's wonderful. You know, really taking charge of your own brand, taking charge of your own future, further developing your skills and knowledge, and moving even into entrepreneurship, like becoming your own entrepreneurial champion that then is able to support other people. We will discuss more about that later on. Let's go back to your time in the Philippines, where, you know, we first met. What was the things that you remember about the Philippines and that you learned from the Filipinos?
Well, I learned Mabuhay and Mahal Kita, which is I love you in Philippines. So I remember saying that a lot when I was on stage, because I really did love the Philippines, and it's true. It is more fun over there. Wow, that competition really did change the trajectory of my life, I would say. Because before I was very much in traditional modeling, and I was already really into environmental things. I was taking along cruelty-free makeup and, you know, non-toxic products because I have skin conditions, and I was seeing the waste in the fashion industry. But it was Miss Earth that really gave me that solid knowing that no, this is where I want to go, and this is the future for me. And you know, we planted loads of trees. I got to meet you, the greenest man on the planet, which, you know, that was awesome. And obviously you've been a massive inspiration to me as well. And I just learned so much. And I just think if you have some kind of platform, why not use it for something that is good or beneficial? And that's really where and the kindness of the Filipinos as well. I cannot speak highly enough of the Filipino people.
Wow, that's great. That's a big pat on the back of many of our viewers who will be from the Philippines. That is an amazing testament of their, hospitality, their warmness in terms of kindness. And that is really the amazing thing that we foreigners pick up here in the Philippines when we first come. But what I find really inspiring as well is that Miss Earth itself, as a pageant, was a springboard for you to reconfirm that is your mission, that is your direction in the future. So a lot of the things that you actually did while you were in the Philippines helped you clarify your path into the future. And that's amazing, you know, when we have those moments in our life where we, with more clarity, realize, wow, this is why I'm here on the planet. This is what I'm here for. That is so empowering. And it's beautiful to see. So what was like the magic moment where you suddenly could see that mission clearly in front of you?
Well, it's funny that you should say talk about that, because I've always been very guided by my heart. And I actually did compete for the national UK competition 3 times before I finally won. So it was almost like my soul was telling me, no, you have to be there. You have to go to Miss Earth. And when I went there, I remember when we were doing some of the tree planting, and I just remember seeing how beautiful and stunning Pearl Farm was in Davao. And I just remember looking at the beauty and the nature, and I was like, wow, like it is up to me to protect this. And seeing all the other girls as well, pitching in, all from different countries, and how every little effort makes, a big impact. And that was the moment for me, seeing that just stunning beauty of the Philippines, and also hearing how the destruction of tourism in Boracay had really affected the nature there as well. It just gave me an extra kind of boost of, no, I can do something about this, and I have the power to do something about it. So yeah, it was definitely a moment, Miss Earth, in a pivotal moment in my life.
Wonderful, wonderful. So a big shout out to the Pearl Farm in Davao. I've never been there. Now I definitely got to make sure one day I can see it. I heard about it before from other participants in the Miss Earth 2016 competition. I might have even seen pictures. But the amazing thing is, even in our neighborhood, let's say the Philippines itself, and now with the restrictions we have during the pandemic, we got to do local tourism, more sustainable tourism. So a lot of Filipinos out there try and, get inspired by the amazing biodiversity and beauty that we have in the country. And that moment, I can really imagine that you are there and you see it. It warms your heart, and you can feel, wow, I have a role to play. This is my mission. That's beautiful, right?
I got
It gives you,
yeah,
yeah, it gives you such a boost in your life, because you're not just wandering around the planet without direction. You're suddenly empowered by the knowledge that this is what you have to do.
Definitely, for sure.
So
I'm
from
grateful
there
that I
on.
had that experience as well.
So what came next? Obviously, we had Ghana the year after, and that was amazing. Yeah, I have to say here, I'm a very lucky guy, because I was the only guy invited to that trip. We had
The
close
Green
to
Man,
10
of
miss.
course.
Yeah. So guys out there, go green, go Calbo, be sustainable, treat the ladies as a gentleman, and then you get invited to trips like that, right?
Yeah, Ghana was that was another incredible experience that I don't think I can ever verbally justify how amazing that was. And as you know, what do we get to do, Matthias?
Oh yeah, we did loads of cleanup actions. We met the wife of the prime minister. We gave talks in different schools, colleges, and we tried to really send a message. Hey, we want to support Ghana. We want to support the environment. We want to support the young people. And we did a tour around Ghana. It was amazing.
Yeah, and not only that, we got to plant a tree with the First Lady at the house, and then also she pledged to implement more trash bins around Accra as well. So we actually made genuine impact there as well as educating the people at the different universities and schools. So it's really great.
Yeah, and did you see that our friend Iram, the Miss Earth Ghana, who invited us, it was her campaign, Trash in Bin. She just did her master's degree in the UK. So I saw that on our Facebook page. So amazing how things are still connected, and how things are really working together. A shout out to our friends, the Scouts from the Philippines. They are watching as well. Luisa, we have a lot of Scouts here that have joined us. So that is great. That is amazing. Yeah, we have there Gia. She is saying good evening from the Scouts from the Philippines. Have a great show. Wonderful. And we have even friends here from the Philippines. We have Dr. Sajjad from, I think from Pakistan, who is saying, great to see the Green Queen. I think your dress tonight is green as well, right?
Well, I couldn't come on the Greenman show as the Green Queen wearing red, could I? I had to wear green.
Yes. That's right. So tell me more about this certificate that you did with Cambridge University. That's focused on how businesses can go green, right?
Yes.
Sustainability.
Yes. My original university degree was in business management. And then, that was always something that naturally interested me, and I've always kind of been my own boss in that way. And I just wanted to learn more specifically about how we can be more sustainable in business. And, it was all about kind of learning about the sustainable development goals, how we can meet those, and also how we can avoid greenwashing, because now that the world is waking up to becoming more eco, there are a lot of businesses just kind of sticking a "I'm green" stamp on things, but are they really being green? So it's more about educating other businesses to make sure that they are actually doing that and looking at people and planet before profit. And then also learning more about how can we close the loop rather than just having traditional business models where we have a product that then ends up in a landfill. How can we close that and make a more circular economy? I personally chose the fashion industry. I did look at a lot of different ones and study a lot of different industries, from cars to toasters and all kinds of things. But having the path that I've been on, the fashion industry was what I wanted to do as my thesis. And so, it was how can we avoid fast fashion going into the landfill? How can we work with retailers that are already giant and doing mass production of clothing? How can we maybe diversify what they do? Could we make some lines where we can send clothing back and get it repaired? Could we send our clothing back and get it reworked into other designs with that brand? It's all about thinking of different ways that we can just close that and make a loop.
So what is your main recommendation for us as consumers, how we can help? I mean, here in the Philippines, we have this ukay ukay. Not sure whether you saw that. It's basically used clothes from North America being sent here. I think originally the idea was charity, but now they're being sold. And I even sometimes go to the shop because you can say it's a pre-loved pair of shoes or a shirt. I bought some things there. Is that good for the environment?
Well, I mean, I always believe that the number one thing we should be doing is just reducing our consumption, regardless of anything. If we can just avoid buying more than we need, that is one of the best thing that we can do, because then we don't have to decide what we need to do with it afterwards. But yes, if we can support, especially with what's going on in the world at the moment, support local businesses, look to those. For instance, there's going to be less air miles and carbon footprint on all of those kinds of things. And not only that, we're supporting people who need it right now, as we all need to come together to support each other with the craziness that's happening in the economy and everything right now. And just start looking at labels. Just become more conscious. Where did my clothing come from? How was it made? What is the materials? When it comes to the end of this life, is it something that I can get reworked? Is it something that can get upcycled? Certain materials, they can't. But then you look at there's lots of people right now that are turning literal fishing nets into fashion. So there's a lot of cool things that we can be doing and just becoming more conscious of.
So I think friends out there who are listening now, I think you heard it here first from a beauty queen. Think, buy less. Ask yourself, do I really need it? I always thought beauty queens would want as many dresses as possible, but maybe did you already have that mindset when you were still in the industry as a fashion model, or did that only emerge recently, that realization?
So before I went to Miss Earth, that was one of my advocacies. Green is the new black is what I was working with. So I deliberately chose a Filipino designer, which was Leo Model, so that I was helping the economy there, and also I wasn't having to, get a dress that had been from all different kind of factories and then been flown here and then flown there to be made. So it was local made. And also specifically, I took a lot of clothing with me that was organic cotton, and because I knew that it was a pageant, and pageants are notorious for using lots of different things. I even back in 2016 I was very aware, but I started modeling at 14, and back then I was much less conscious of what I was doing. Definitely using a lot of fast fashion. Please forgive me, I've changed my ways, but over time it was something that I became more aware of, and like I said, Miss Earth was the catalyst for that, to make me see, hold on, I'm going to go to an international pageant here. How can I do this in a sustainable way? I can't show up as an ambassador for being green, but be not being green. So yeah, I had to put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I think that is important. If we are advocating a certain thing, we need to do it holistically. I mean, nobody is perfect. I got this title, greenest person on the planet. I tell people I'm far from perfect. Our electricity bill went up a lot during the lockdown because we were working from home. My wife was telling me, honey, we need another aircon because our son, who is 1 year old, was starting to get rashes on his back. So our electricity bill has gone up, and sometimes you have to make compromises, but that's what life is about. As long as we have the big picture in mind to ethically represent what we stand for and put it in practice. I'm actually wearing not just this one is green, something even more green that I wear is I have organic cotton underwear.
Yes.
Yes. I'm wearing currently innerwear that's made from organic cotton. Don't worry, guys, it's not biodegradable, but it's organic. It was made from raw materials that are more eco-friendly. Have you got any special things like that as well, or any tips for eco-conscious makeup? You're into vegan food, right? That's been your main advocacy as well. What other tips do you have for our listeners?
Yeah, so like you've just expressed, you can literally be green from your head to your toe. You have to just see it as, when you have a choice that's presented to you, it doesn't matter what it is in, you can just decide to make a conscious decision. So you can either choose to do one way, or you can choose to do the other. Obviously there's lots of different variables involved, so your own budget. I think we should meet people with where they're at. So everything is a spectrum. We're not all saying that you have to be like the green man and the green queen, otherwise you're a bad person. No, it's just about doing what you can and being what you can within your limitations. In a way, being green, especially, in England, some of the things are more expensive. And then if your budget doesn't allow for certain things, then you have to take that into account. But there are other things that you can do that don't need to cost more money. So it's just about meeting yourself where you're at, looking at the decision that you've got to make and saying, am I able to make this conscious choice that fits with my life? But then also, what else can I do? You could go out and you could pick up trash. That's free. You can go out and just decide, put a jumper on instead of the heating. And there are other things that you can do to save and actually find that you are saving. So people say to me, oh, is being vegan more expensive? It can be, but also it can be less, because instead of buying meat and fish and salmon, these things are expensive, I'm buying a lot of pulses, legumes, beans, and these things are very, very cheap. So it's all a spectrum, and it's just about weighing the options up and doing what you can and doing the best that you can with what you've got.
Yeah. I think for our listeners here in the Philippines as well, it's important to clarify that the less meat we eat, the more we lower our carbon footprint. There is the other issue. There's a lot of health issues that Filipinos have already at a young stage that I think comes as well from overconsumption of red meat and other things that are not so healthy, a lot of processed foods. So I think it's good for our planet and good for our health to consider shifting to more green and sustainable solutions. By the way, if you have any specific questions for Luisa, start putting them into the chat. We can address them to you guys. We can address them to Luisa. So feel free to put them in the chat there. And we are very willing to address them. So have you done any recent work with companies or any specific recommendations for companies on the issue of how they can go green?
Yes, so I mean, I'm constantly working with people in the industry, and I mean, I have my own health and wellness business. So the makeup that I'm wearing, I also sell it. The hair products, and this is with a B Corporation company. So if I don't know if your listeners know what a B Corporation is, but if you have a B Corporation certificate, then you know that is absolute evidence and proof that that company is doing the best that they can in terms of people and planet before profit. It's an extremely hard certificate to get. Sometimes it takes like 2 years, but this company got it in 6 months. So I know that I'm aligned with a company that is doing a lot of good. And when you send the products back, they also work with TerraCycle. Do you know what TerraCycle?
No.
No, so TerraCycle is a company that is being used in the US and the UK at the moment, and the hard to use packaging or anything else, they're literally upgrading into park benches and all kinds of cool things. So there's that, and then just generally advising as well. If I see any companies that are, you know, just maybe using plastic packaging or whatever, I will, you know, share with them, oh, have you ever thought about other ways? And I just have these conversations. It's just about opening conversations with people, because sometimes people aren't necessarily even aware or thinking about it. And you know, my job isn't to go in and say like I said before, oh, you're a bad person, you're not being eco, you're not saving the planet. It's not about shaming. It's about just connecting, sharing knowledge, and just showing another way. And so, you know, that is my duty as the official Green Queen, to just show that there is another way, and also with you, that we can move towards a greener planet, but also still live our lives, you know?
Yeah. I think that is very important, to be balanced, to avoid the shaming and kind of take people on a journey. I mean, there are roles for certain organizations like NGOs to make a bit of noise on subjects, but I think both your and my style are similar. We want to take people on the journey of learning and benefiting. Now, recently you shared on your Facebook page as well an observation that was very personal, but maybe quite important for people related to body shaming and comments and taking back control back yourself to determine where you're going. Maybe you want to share some advice to our viewers on that subject.
Yes, so I actually had a comment, which is not unheard of. I've had this same comment, or you know, something else that's a comment throughout my whole career, and that was that I recently did a shoot and that I looked fat. And I also think these things are very, very subjective. But for me, I feel that we need to move away from this idea that you have to be a particular size to be a model or to be a beauty queen, because value shouldn't be based on numbers anymore at all. It shouldn't be based on likes. It shouldn't be based on followers. It shouldn't be based on your waist size. You know, I think we have to move more towards the heart and be led from our heart, and understand that everybody is a role model. And so that is something that I'm pushing, and a movement that I'm creating, that every single person has value or story of the things that they've overcome, or the things that they've learned, and that we can share that with other people. We can also be an inspiration in our local community, in our schools, with our friends and with our family, just by choosing to make conscious actions. Like, every single person's a role model. You don't need a beauty queen title to be that. And so it's just encouraging other people to take that power in their hands of what they have, and doesn't matter what anyone says, whatever anyone's opinion is, as long as you are guided by your truth and you know who you are, that ignore the noise and just do what you can and just keep moving forward. And in the process, if you can help the planet, then please join me.
That's wonderful. I think that's an important message for a lot of people out there that are currently, wondering, why don't I get 1,000 likes on Facebook, on Instagram? Why is nobody watching my video? Don't worry. It's about you and your truth, and go your path and follow your mission and your passion. Yes, we have to align it with opportunities to earn a good living. And I always say, if we earn a living from healing the planet rather than from destroying the planet, then we're on a beautiful path in life. But you are good enough, you're beautiful enough, you are, there where you need to be. Don't worry about the noises that are out there. That is a beautiful message from Luisa for everybody out there. And even if you get, criticized or attacked on social media or somewhere else, be in your space, walk your path. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah. And just one more thing to add to that. I actually had a 16-year-old girl reach out to me earlier this year. And she loves singing, she loves dancing, creating music. And she asked me, she was like, oh, how can I have lots and lots of followers? And I said, she said, what can I post? What can I post? And I said, well, post what you love. Don't post for people to get likes and to get followers. Post what you love doing, and the followers and the likes will come, and by that point you won't care, because you're enjoying what you're doing and you're putting out things that makes your soul sing. So I think that's really important. We need to not look outside for doing things for validation of other people, but doing it because you love it, and that genuinely what fills you up. And when you're full within yourself, then if people were fulfilled and feeling on purpose and stuff, we'd have so many less problems in the world. I genuinely believe inner peace leads to world peace. Being a stereotypical beauty queen right now, but it's true.
Yeah. And you did a retreat, right? You met the Dalai Lama. You thought about, more conscious living and stuff like that. So I guess that has contributed as well to this realization that, you feel it's very much about relax, be calm inside, love yourself, and embrace the world, and be the message to the world.
Well, believe it or not, yeah, I did 10 days of silence last year in Myanmar. I don't know if you've heard of Vipassana. It's a form of meditation. Yeah, so I did 10 days a silent retreat in Myanmar, and there was 100 hours of meditation. So it was 10 hours a day, and you had to sit like a stone and just meditate. And for someone, I am very much, I have to admit, a bit addicted to my phone, because it is my work, and sometimes I do have to learn to switch off. And when I got my phone back at the end, it was like looking at some ancient artifact. My eyes physically felt weird looking at it and touching the phone. Obviously, it didn't take very long until it was back to normal, but just that 10 days of not looking at anyone, you can't make eye contact with anyone, you can't speak, and just going really within, gave me a lot of clarity, more on my purpose, and also just how little we actually need. Because we were waking up at 4 a.m, we were going to bed around 9:30. We've stopped eating at 11 a.m, so we'd have one meal at 6, and then we'd have another 11. And apart from that, and your shower and your toothbrush, you didn't need anything else.
Wow.
And it was amazing, that learning experience.
And you can be happier, right? Without any electronic gadgets, without the phone, without the TV, just by yourself. And yeah, And this is actually a very important message as well, because we've been conditioned to be consumers, and we've been told that happiness will come when we are consuming, when we are basically buying things. But your realization there was, no, we don't need it, right?
100%. I'm used to having been in a world that was very much about consumption. As a model, I'm selling products for people to buy. But just to have the opportunity to just plug out of the world, I had to hand my phone in, and they actually take it off you, tape it up with sellotape and put it away, and then they give it back to you at the end. And literally, you just have a bed, you have your room, you have a fan, because it was super, super hot, and that was it. And then you would just go, they'd wake you up with a bell, because there was no alarm to wake you up. There was a bell that would wake you up, and then you had to go to the hall in silence, do your meditations, and then go back to bed. And that was it. It was very, very, very simple. I had a monk that was sat in front of me, because she was just incredible. And there was also a 90-year-old lady, and I'm 30 years old, and I was really struggling with you just sitting still for this amount of time. And she was 90 years old, and I looked over to her. You're not really supposed to look at the other people, but my ego was fighting with me to concentrate. And she was just like a stone, and I was just completely in awe of her. And at first, I also then started kind of judging myself and me with it, but that was my first time doing it. And I found out later that she'd been doing this every year as a kind of pilgrimage to herself, and just to kind of learn more. So yeah, it was amazing to learn from her, and just to see her rocking it.
Wow, great. So happiness is inside, it's not in things. But we have a question that came in. What's the best environmentally friendly gift this holiday season?
Oh, well, who's it for?
Jay.
It entirely depends.
Who is it for?
Is it for a baby? Is it for your grandparents? But okay, so the best thing you can do, I would say, is obviously get the person something that they would like, but take thought of the wrapping. What are you packaging it in? Is the product something that is plastic? Is it not? Is it something that's biodegradable? I can't choose the gift for you, but just think, is this something that can be reused, or is it going to be used once and then thrown away? Is it something that they will genuinely cherish and want to use again and again and again? And it's just about making those questions to yourself before you buy it. And we can apply that to everything, whether it's Christmas gifts or just general life. But I saw a really neat thing with the packaging, people using newspaper to wrap it up, and then just using creativity to make it look cool, from newspapers that they were using already. So there's lots of things you can do.
So some great comments, but Jay, can I if I take my lessons learned from Luisa just now, I would say the best environmentally friendly gift you can give this holiday season is the gift of love and attention. It has zero environmental impact, zero carbon footprint, zero packaging, zero plastic. You don't need to spend any big money for it, but it will deliver a very enthusiastic response in return.
That's
so
I'm glad that, yeah, well, of course, as the Beatles say, all you need is love.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can give the gift of giving your time and attention, then of course that is the most eco-friendly thing that you can possibly do. So yeah, that's definitely a great thing.
Wouldn't that be an interesting campaign, eco gift campaign during the holiday season, to organize something maybe via an app or via Facebook page and message it? Come, my baby daughter is opening the door. Maybe I'll show you my baby daughter.
I want to see.
Come, say hi to Lucia. Hello, this is Princess Athena living in the Philippines.
Does she know
Oh,
German?
yeah.
Guten Tag.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wie heißt
Hey,
du?
why are you putting your tongue out all the time? Say hello, Luisa. Hello, hi, friends. There are many friends watching from all over the Philippines, okay? All right, Schätzchen, bis später. Huh? See you later. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Auf
Bye-bye,
Wiedersehen.
bye-bye. Hopefully, future Miss Earth in 20 years' time.
Oh, for sure.
So, yes,
She'll
she
be the
might need a
greenest
coach.
girl on the planet. I'm going to have some
Yeah,
competition.
yeah. She will be the new green queen. Maybe
Yeah.
you can hand
I can
over
hand
your
her a
knowledge.
title.
Yes, yes, yes. But maybe more important than the title is the knowledge and the passion and the vision. And for me as a dad, it's up to her to choose her path. Really, obviously, if she becomes as well an environmental ambassador, that would make me very happy. Sure, but it will be for her to decide. First, she wanted to become a doctor. Then she loved her cookie. The latest thing was she wanted some makeup. So, different things at different times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her path will become clear as she goes through all of her interests, won't she? But I'm sure she'll be looking up to you as inspiration.
Hopefully, yeah. It will be inspiring for me as well. And, at one point in time of my life, I was thinking we have overpopulation on the planet. Uh, I don't think I'll become a dad ever in my life. And I was actually very close doing vasectomy when I was living in the UK. I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm a really happy dad. And seeing the kids grow and develop their own mind. My son is 1 year old. He's already starting to test all sorts of things, and it looks like he wants to become a mechanic. He is checking out all sorts of things. So it's beautiful to see them grow and develop. So I think we're already coming up towards the end. Luisa, maybe what would be your advice for our listeners? A lot of us are making plans for the next year. How can we maximize the return for the planet, for our precious Mother Earth? What are the things we should think of in terms of our 2021 planning, especially in those specific circumstances of the pandemic that we're living in now?
Well, yes, of course. The pandemic, actually, unfortunately, the amount of masks and the amount of gloves that are just being disposed of, that I've been walking down the street and just been seeing these disposed all over the floor. And in that sense, it's really quite a shame because, these things, they're choking nature, the animals are eating them, and it's also not hygienic. And it's just, we need to be able to stay safe, but just be mindful of where you're disposing things, and also when you're going to the shop or you're using masks, make sure that you're not just frivolously using mask after mask after mask. I have a reusable one that's washable, and yeah, just taking care of each other, staying safe, and do what you can. It's a very difficult time for everyone, and I understand economically there's a lot of things that are happening right now. But if you can join in, and if you see some trash on the floor when you're out, pick it up. If you are able to turn the light off, or give the gift of love at Christmas instead of presents, then go for it. Have a loving Christmas with your heart. So just do what you can. That's my number one tip.
Yeah.
Remain conscious.
Good advice from Luisa. Remain conscious. Do what you can. Love yourself. Don't make yourself dependent on the likes on Facebook. You have a mission. You are here for a purpose. Live that mission. Live that purpose. Don't let yourself be put down by other people, and walk your path and your mission. So beautiful to be inspired by the mission of the official Green Queen. Life,
Actually,
yeah.
Greenman, can I set the viewers a little challenge? Could
Yes,
you
yes, sure.
guys, if you post something on your Instagram and you tag me at Louisa Burton and you put hashtag role models of you doing something environmentally challenged, and I'd love to be able to reshare you guys on the story or something, just so you can be the inspiring role models to my audience, so we can inspire other people to join us and all be role models together. So yeah, tag me in a picture of you doing something environmentally friendly this holiday, and hashtag role models.
Great. Excellent. There we go. The Instagram link is down there, and hashtag role models. And then you will inspire and make Luisa very happy. Thank you so much, Luisa, for joining us today. Wishing you a lovely Saturday afternoon in a cold UK. And hopefully you can join us again one day, take a carbon neutral flight to Manila again. And we would love to see you again in Philippines, face to face when all the challenges are over. All right. All the best. Thank you. Bye bye.